I work with business people to help them discover their personal brand magic. So what is your personal brand? That is the unique imprint you leave in the minds of everybody that you meet every day, online or in person. And in today's world, it's really important that we stand out from the crowd and be memorable, because let's be honest, we don't have unique businesses generally. And so we have to make ourselves memorable in the minds of the people we meet in order to help them choose us when it's necessary, when they're looking for our service or something that we can do for them to help their business. So that's what your personal brand is. And I'm passionate about helping people discover that personal brand magic. So why do you need personal brand magic? Or why do you need a personal brand at all? So our brand and the message that we give to people every day when we meet them in a work situation helps them to decide whether to choose to work with us, whether to trust us with their business, whether to spend money with us, whether to employ us, or whether to select us at interview. Now, our personal brand is a promise of what we can deliver. And if you think about it like the trailer for a great movie, people need to be intrigued by the trailer before they go and see the movie. And that's what our personal brand is. You can also imagine that it's like a book cover. What makes you pick that book off the shelf? It's because you're intrigued by the cover. And so our personal brand and the message we give and our professional image is a taster of what we can do and a promise of what we can deliver. So it's really important that we get that right every day and every time we go out to meet people in business. Let them know who we are, what are our unique values, and how we can deliver 100% for them the goals that they have for their business. So everybody's situation is different and everybody's situation is unique. As you can see, I've chosen a couple of examples here of two young people who work in the city, both of them wearing suits, but in a different way. Now, I know not every one of us want to look like that, but you understand my message. They would walk into a meeting and be memorable. They're talking about their brand with their body language and their image. So I work 100% on finding your unique personal brand. I'm not categorizing you into any other situation. It's not a pre-packed package. It is solely on you and what your goals are and what you need for your business. So in your personal brand, what is it? Can you think of 3 words that would describe your personal brand? Maybe it's you're innovative, maybe it's you're creative, maybe it's that you are very trustworthy. What are the brand values that you want to demonstrate to your potential target audience? And that is the people that are going to pay you every day. So for example, my brand values are that I am 100% confidential in everything that my clients tell me. I'm 100% on their side to deliver the goals they need for their business and work, to take their career and their business to new levels, to help them succeed at interview and promotion. So how can I help? Well, I have a unique program called Impact, designed to make sure you leave a positive imprint in the minds of everyone you meet every day. And we need to remember that we are always on stage meeting people every day, and we can't forget that. So how can Impact work for you? Well, let's see what it means. So Impact, if we take the I, is your image and your professional working wardrobe appropriate for your business and the people that you are going to see every day. So that might not mean a suit like the 2 you saw earlier. That might mean something totally different for you, but we need to work on that and get it right so you're sending the right message. Your media presence needs to be the online equivalent of you. And if you don't get it right, it can devalue your personal brand value. So we need to make sure that that is right. that your media presence represents you as you are in person. Your personal presence. Your personal presence is the way, well, let me tell you a story. When I was a young girl, I had said to my great aunt who was in the theatre, I was going to a youth club for the first time. I told her I was really nervous about going, and she said to me, "That's really selfish, Barbara." Puzzled, I asked her why, and she said, "Because you're just thinking about other people. Go out and be interested. You're just thinking about yourself. Go out and be interested in other people." So those people we know with personal presence are interested in the people around them. They're confident in their skills and their credibility. So it's important to develop that when you're having your own personal brand. Your attitude and behavior, your body language, your manners and courtesy and business etiquette is really important. Remember that good manners skyrocket your reputation. How many times have we worked with people who don't show courtesy towards us, and we don't want to work with them again? So your attitude and your behavior when you're with clients, listen, understand, and most especially listen. Be authentic in yourself and your skills. Your communication skills is not just verbal, it's your tone of voice, the way you write, the way you present. So your communication skills are really important. And you need to remember the 3 C's in this area: clarity, consistency, and constancy. So those things need to be clear at all times. They need to be constant, so exactly the same whenever anybody meets you, and they need to be clearly communicated. T is trust. So why trust? People need to trust that we will deliver on time, every time, what they need to have from us. So they need to know that when they ask us to do something, we will do it without fail and deliver it on time within the time scale that we've promised. So that's my impact program, and we work through all that for each individual person to develop that great personal brand. So who are our clients? Well, they can be individual business people like us, working with people going for interview and promotion, which I've been doing a lot lately, people returning to work, people rebranding their business startups, corporate teams, sales teams in particular. I've worked with British Airways, Johnson & Johnson, Sainsbury's, graduate recruits and fast-track graduate recruits, which is really interesting, people going out into the business world for the first time and how they represent themselves, and particularly if they're working with a company and need to represent the corporate image. So how do they do that, and why is it important? I have loved working with the graduate recruit teams, and I still hear from some of them even years later about how they're getting on. So that's really interesting. I love that. I'm passionate about working with business people so they step out of the crowd and become their very own personal brand rock star. I need you to stand out there above everybody else in the crowd and shine for all your unique abilities and your unique values that you can bring to your personal branding. So let me tell you a story. These are a couple of people I've worked with. Your silent image sends out silent messages to everyone you meet. So this is Isabel. Just while you're looking at her, who do you think she is? I have her permission to do this, by the way. Some people have said she looks like a young mum. Some people said she looks like a student, or maybe a librarian was even one of the things I got. So let me tell you Isabel's story. Isabel is 6'2". She was Team GB athlete in the high jump. When I met her, she was a veterinary student and she was trying to qualify for Team GB, which meant she had to travel the country to meets here and in Europe. She didn't have the money to do this, but she was really wanting to get qualified in Team GB. So how could we use her personal brand to reach her goal of sponsorship and money to get to the meetings? So I took her incredible assets, a super fit Team GB athlete, 6'2", very striking, and what did we do to help her? So here is Isabel afterwards. What I did was I went to a new designer brand that was in London at the time called the Fold of London. They were looking for high-profile clients to represent their brand. Isabel suited that perfectly, and as you can see, she looks great. She's got skyscraper legs that I would love to have like that. And her promise to them would be that wherever she was, she would promote the Fold of London. I then took her to Fox Hills in Ottershaw and did this photo shoot, and we focused on things British because she's a Team GB athlete, like the telephone box and the Union Jack handbag. And from there, I sent this portfolio to a company called Long Tall Sally, which some of you may know is a brand that designs clothing for tall girls. As a result of that, they took her on as the face of Long Tall Sally and sponsored her for a year so she could get to all her meets. In addition to this, a local garage gave her a BMW to drive for a year. So from taking that girl who looked like a uni student or a young mum and focusing on her unique assets and abilities and her personal brand, we got her this amazing package. And I'm glad to say she got into Team GB. So there is one other story I'd like to show you. And this is Dave. Who do you think Dave is? Well, some people said to me they thought he was a second-hand car salesman, a lorry driver. Let me tell you Dave's story. Who are you thinking he is? Dave is actually a senior A&E surgeon in a London hospital and very, very busy. He has a young family and was wanting to come out of the NHS and go into private practice in Harley Street in aesthetics and well-being. He wasn't getting the contacts that he needed. So he was referred to me and he asked me, could I help him? I asked him, what were his goals? What did he want me to do for him? And he told me the 3 words that he needed for his personal brand: gravitas, professionalism, and approachability. That was really important to him. Now, Dave is 5'4", not very tall, and he's Chinese, and in the words of him, his own words, not the best looking guy on the planet. But he is actually a very kind and caring man. So we worked together, and this is what we achieved. Here is Dave after his makeover. So as a man, as a petite man, there was only one way he was going to get a suit that worked well for him, and that was bespoke. So I took him to a tailor in London that I know through networking, and we had this bespoke suit made in a colour that suited his skin tones much better. Not long after this, he was very successful in opening his Harley Street business and going to conventions where he drew clients to him that were the clients he was looking for. So this gave Dave the gravitas, the professional look, and the approachability that he wanted. I had a very funny email from his wife, who is a tall, willowy blonde Welsh girl, and they don't mind me sharing this with you. Dave's wife wrote to me and said, "Thank you, Barbara. He looks almost handsome." So Dave showed from looking like a second-hand car salesman, how getting the right fit and clothing. We worked with him on body language and approaching the clients that he wanted and his communication skills, and he was another success story. So always be aware of how you present yourself and your brand. You never know who you will meet and who may influence your future in a good way. And we need to be creative with our personal brand and think what our goals are and tailor our brand to achieve it. And one young lady who's doing this now is Emma Raducanu, who's just won the US Open. She's young, fit athlete, top of her fitness and game, and she's being showered with sponsorship by Chanel and Tiffany, as you may have seen on the news. So again, remember, you never know who you will meet who may influence your future. Just a couple of client feedbacks on a different section. I love working with people who are going for interviews, and this was a lady who'd come from South Africa, financial background. Her services and her skills didn't quite fit the financial background here, and she wasn't quite getting to that final interview. So I worked with her, and this was her testimonial. After numerous interviews, my confidence was at rock bottom. Barbara gave me the invaluable tools I needed to put myself out there again, and insight on how to approach interviews and the people who would be interviewing me. I received 2 job offers within short succession. I was super happy to hear that. And then there is Laura Passy, who went from being a corporate lawyer to an interior designer, a total change of branding and business. I thoroughly recommend Barbara's services to all professionals wanting to clarify their personal brand and create a roadmap to achieve it. I knew how important it was that clients took away the right message about me and my abilities as a professional. 2 lovely people that I was delighted to work with and who have had huge success. So that's me, Barbara Cosgrave. I love working with people. I'm a people person, and I love working with you to help you find your personal brand rock star and stand out from the crowd way above everybody else. So thank you for that, and thank you for listening. And if anybody would like to contact me for a chat, please feel free to do so. I'd love to talk to you.